Hi students, welcome to this video session. My name is Samuel Chukwuemeka. In this video session, we shall design a simple, basic 4-function calculator. That means we shall design a calculator that does the basic arithmetic operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We shall use one method to design it. In the next video, we shall use another method to design the same basic calculator. I shall introduce you to several methods that I can, and you just use the method that you are comfortable with. So we open up VB. Please, it is important that you view the previous videos. It is recommended that you view these videos in the playlist in order. As you can see, this is when you open it up. When you open up the VB, you see the recent projects. That was the projects we did earlier. But now we want to create a new project. I click on create a new project and I still want a Windows Form application. In this case, I will name this Samdom Basic Calculator. My nickname is Samdom for peace. So I want to name it Samdom Basic Calculator. Remember, as we said earlier, there is no space in the name. And I click OK. So it takes me to this IDE. Now, what I want now is to remember the three things we talked about in the previous video. We have to create the user interface, then we set the properties, and then we write the program code. So let me create the user interface. Let me drag this a bit. And this is form 1. I want to change it to Samdom Basic Calculator. Now, I would want a text box. I can double click. Call this the first text box, and I want another one, or I can click, hold, and drag. I'll make sure that they are in order. So this is the first text box, and this is the second text box. Now, I want to change this name to the name of this text box to first number text box, first num text box. That's the name. And this one, I want to change it to second num. Okay, first number text box and second number text box. That is the name I want. This is first number text box. This is second number text box. And I would like to add a label on top of it. Add a label here. The label, I want the auto size to be false, so I can change the size, and I want the text instead of label 1. I want to write a first number. Okay, first number. This is first number, and I want to change the font to be B Book Antiqua. I want it bold 12. Okay. So now, instead of me to come and start changing everything, what I can do is, just to save time, I can click on this, right click, I can copy, and I can come here and paste. Now when I paste, just to save time, when I paste, this will be label 2 because this is label 1 already. I can leave this as label 1. I'm not going, I wouldn't really use it in the code, so I can leave it as label 1. But you have done another one. This is label 2. So instead of me to drag another label and paste it, you know, I can just copy and paste. Instead of me to drag another label and start typing and changing the properties, I can just copy this and paste. All I need to do now is to, under the text, this is still label 2, but under the text, I will just change this to second number. Okay. So you enter the first number here, you enter the second number here. Let me increase this a bit. First number, increase this a bit. Second number. The next thing I want to do now is to add buttons. The button of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So what I want to do now, I click on button. This is button 1. And I want the text to be add. And the name to be add button. Now, if I change this name, if I copy and paste another button, then it will call it button 1. You will see what I mean now as we go on. If I don't change the name button 1, if I copy it, then the next one will be button 2. If I copy and paste it, the next one will be button 2. But once I change the name, if I copy and paste, then that next one will be button 1. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to change the font color to, I want to change the font color to green. And then I want to change the, font to Bell Empty. I want it bold and I want size 12. Okay. Then another thing I want to do is to change the background color. So I go to back color. Now, if I don't see the colors I need here, I can go and get more colors I need. Let's say I want to change this background color to bisque. Assuming I want to change this background color to bisque. So I don't really know if this is bisque, but what I can do is, if I really want bisque, B-I-S-Q-U-E. Okay, I have to open my website now, and I'll show you. Search for my name, click on my site. When you go to technology, under web design, you click on resources, and I have RGB and hexadecimal values of colors. So what I want to search now is Control F, and what do I want to search? I want to search for bisque, and it gives me the bisque they have, and this is the bisque I want. This is the bisque one I have, 255, 228, 196. So this is 225. I just changed the next one 228, and I change the next one 196. So it gives me that, what I need. Okay, that's how you change it. And let me say I want the same thing for the other buttons. Instead of me to keep clicking the buttons and doing all this stuff, all I need, I copy and paste. Copy, I paste. You see, this will now be button 1, like I told you. And of course, the next one will be button 2. And the next one will be button 3. Okay, let's arrange this and name it accordingly. I want to call this one the subtract button as the name. And the text, I want to call it subtract. Then this one, I call it the multiply as the text. And instead of button 2, I call it multiply button. Then this one, I have it as the divide button. Remember the camel case. I'm using camel case to name it. And the text, I call it divide. Okay. So I want, when I put in these numbers, I put in the first number, I put in the second number. It could be any number. It could be integer, it could be decimal, it could be positive, it could be negative. When I click on these buttons, okay, it's gonna give me a result. And that result is what I want to display in a label. So I want this to be the result to be in a label. I click this twice, so I have to delete this one, label 4. Okay, I want this to be displayed in a label, and this label, I want to call it the result label. Result label. And I don't want any text to be on it. Okay, but that means I have to make the auto size to be false. And then I have to expand it to be kind of, you know, a little bit big. And I have to make the border style so that I can see it. I make the border style to be fixed 3D. So you can see it like this. The next thing I want to do now is I want to also have 2 buttons whereby I can clear. When I click on the buttons, it will clear the entries, and it will make the autofocus. It will return the mouse to be here for you to enter the first number, and also the exit buttons to close the calculator. I also want that. So I have another button that I will add. Either you double click or you click, hold and drag. I want this to be the clear button. I put clear as the text. Now, if I still want this to be like these other buttons, I could make that, and I think I want it that way. So let me just delete this. You just go ahead, delete this, and you just copy this again. It will save us time. Paste. And also I want another one. Paste. Okay, so this one I call it the clear button. I name it clear button. I want everything to be uniform, so clear button. And the text, I want to call it clear. Now, I want this C to be underlined. Assuming I want the C to be underlined, like this is clear now, I will have to put what I call an ampersand symbol. Okay, you have it on your keyboard. You see it underlines the C, clear. We call it the ampersand. Ampersand symbol is on your keyboard. And then I want this to be exit. So I put the ampersand before. I want the E to be underlined. Anyone you want to be underlined, you put the ampersand symbol before it. Exit. And I name it. I go ahead and name it exit button. So I have my clear button, I have my exit button. Yeah, and this is just what I want in the calculator. Now, the main thing about this calculator is that when the form loads, I want the cursor to point at this, telling the user that you have to put in first number. And after that, the user will put in second number and then click on add. Okay, and when the user clicks on add, it will say the sum is this. When the user clicks on subtract, it will say the difference is this. Of course, the result. When the user clicks on multiply, it will say the product is this. And when the user clicks on divide, it will say the quotient is this. So I have finished creating my user interface. The next thing for me to do is, and I have also set the properties of the objects I created. So the next thing for me is to write the code. Let's run this and see how it looks like first. If you run it, see how it looks like. Okay. Now, if you want, you could change the background of this form to be, let's find a nice color to put it. So let's leave it as olive color. I like olive color because peace denotes peace, and I'm a man of peace. We want, when the form loads first, when the form loads, what do we want? We want the cursor to be here at the first number to tell us, hey, okay, you need to put the first number. Okay, this is the form right now. So let's double click on the form. So this takes us to the code window. And we want, when this form loads, we want the focus to be on the first text box. If you look at this, this is called, the name is first num text box. Okay, so we want first num text box. Once it is highlighted, you can press the tab key on your keyboard. Dot focus. Okay, and we put this parenthesis. So if you look at it, well, form 1, when form 1 loads, you want the focus to be on the first num text box. Okay, then declare some variables. Remember what we said are variables. A variable is a special container used to hold data temporarily in a program. And you create variables by using the dim statement. Dim means declaration in memory. So the variables we want to use, if we are going to use it again and again, we want to declare those variables in the public class here. Public class form 1. So what we want to do now, remember this is a subroutine or sub-procedure. When the form loads is this one. But we are interested in the public class. You declare variables that you want to use in all the event procedures. You want to declare it under the public class. The public class is form1.vb. Okay, that is the name. Remember, that's the name of our form. The name of our form is form 1. I know that the text is Samdom Basic Calculator, but the name is form1.vb, and we can really change it. You know what? We can change it. We can change the name to. Let's change it to Samdom Calculator. Remember, names, there's no space in name. So the name is Samdom Basic Calculator. That is what we change it to. Okay, Samdom Basic Calculator is now the name. So it changes it here, Samdom Basic Calculator, as you can see. So we want to declare this. We want to go ahead and do a declaration of what we want to use. We do it right under the public class. Let me repeat. The variables that you will use in all the forms event procedures, you want to declare them under the public class because you're going to use it in all the event procedures rather than declaring it repeatedly in the sub procedures. You want to declare it in the public class so that you can now use it in all the sub procedures that you will do. And how do we declare variables? We declare variables by using the word DIM, declaration in memory. We can make a comment first. You make a comment in VB by using a single quotation mark, just a single quotation mark. And this is declaration. And when you make a comment, it comes up in green. So that means you're just making a comment. So we want to declare declaration in memory. That's what we want to do. We want to declare variables. In other words, declare variables. Declare the variables to be used. So we use dim. Now, the name of the variable we want to use a first number. Want to use first num. Then we want to use second number as well. And we want to use the result as what? As what? Okay, that leads us to what we call data types. What are we going to declare these variables as? Now what I mean by first number is this. You put in the first number, put in the second number, and when you click on these buttons, it will generate a result here. So you have to declare these variables. Now, as what? That brings us to data types. So let's go back to my website, Visual Basic resources, Visual Basic data types. Now, like I said in the previous video, I will be putting the resources you need here. I'll be putting them here. Okay, and this, I've changed it to applications. If you can remember this, if you click on this, the executable file of the first project we did. Anyway, let's continue. You click on Visual Basic data types here, kind of gives you the data types. So you take your time and read it. Now, in my application, I want it to be any number you put, any number at all you put. We could use either the decimal or the double. I'll prefer to use the double. The double is a floating point, while the decimal is a fixed point variable. The double is a floating point variable. Later, we can discuss this later, but for this application, I'm going to use double. Declare this as double. Double. Okay. Now you have declared it in the public class. You've declared the variables. The next thing you want to do now is this. You go back to your design form. When we click on add, is going to add the first number and the second number, right? When we click on subtract, it will subtract the second number from the first number. When we click on multiply, it will multiply the first number and the second number. And when we click on divide, it will divide the first number by the second number. So what we want to do is now we click on add. When we click on add button, click. When you click on it, what will it do? So here you want to, now you have declared your variables that you will use. What you will now do here, the code you will now write here is that the first num is equal to, this first num will be whatever you add here, whatever you put here, right? First num text box dot text. First num text box dot text, right? And then the second number, second num, will be, you're looking at what you declared and you're now saying what would this be? Okay, you've declared it as double. Tell us now what it will be. And this is second num text box dot text, right? Now let us now process. The next step is process. In processing, we now want to say that our result will be, of course, this is under add, so this will be first num plus second num. That will be our result. Okay. Now the next one is we want our display. I make the comment. How do you want this to be displayed? You want it to, when it adds, when you click on add, of course that's why we wrote it under add button. You want it to be displayed here. And this is what we call the result label. You want it to be in the result label. So how do you want it to read? Okay, so you want the result label dot text to be, you want it to read that the sum is, you leave kind of some space. Okay, the space that will go, that's the sum is, you put some space and then you put the ampersand sign, result, what the result will be. Okay, now look at what this does. When you put in the first number, put in the second number, and you click the add button, then in the display label it will say the sum is. You want, depending on how the result is, you want some space. That's why we put this space. Okay, let's kind of run this. Let's run this and see how it will be. Let's run this for a moment and see how it will be. Click on run. So let's put here maybe -20, because you can put anything double, because if you look at this, if you look at a double here, it says it goes from this through this for negative values, and it goes from this through this for positive values. So okay, that's a lot to learn, right? Don't worry, just small. Now, one good thing about it is it doesn't matter how you put it, even if it's two negative numbers, negative 15.75. And what you do, you add. When you add, it says the sum is this. Now, if you want to bring this closer, you can close this space here. You know, if you close this space, then you bring it closer. Okay. Now, if I click on clear or exit or subtract, nothing will happen, right? And I'll be stuck. Like sometimes when you have not finished writing the code and you write something, you click on something. Like if we click on subtract now, if you click on it again and you want to close this, you know, you have to close it. Sometimes you have to click the stop debugging. Let me show you what I mean. Assuming you click on add, nothing, and you want to close it. If you can't close it, right, it tells you this. All you need to do is don't be mad, okay? You just click on stop debugging to close it. Okay, so I have written this for add and I see it works, right? So what I need to do is I don't need to waste my time. I'll just copy this for the subtract. So I just click on subtract button. If I double click on the subtract button, it always brings me here. Remember, this is subtract button. If you click on it, what will happen? So all I need to do, I just copy what I've written here. Copy. And I'll just paste it here. But this will be minus. And then this will be the difference. The difference is this, right? And for the multiply button, now another thing, if you don't want to go to the code window by double clicking directly, what else can you do? If you don't want to go to the code window by double clicking directly, you can come here and you just look at you find the multiply button, you click on it, and then what declaration do you want? If you click on it, so it brings you to here. So you can either double click on this, you see it brings you to here, or you do it from here. Okay, and I will just paste this, and here I will just multiply this, and I will say here the product. The product is what? Remember, the main thing is the result. The ampersand sign connects this to the result. Now, this is in red because it is not part of it. It's just a word that will come out. The main thing is just the result that we declared here as double. So the next one, I can just go to divide button. I come here, I press the divide button. When I do what? When I click on it, what is going to happen? I'll just put divide button here. Slash means divide. And I will say here the quotient. The quotient is the result. Okay. Now, if you want to test this the moment, you can put 35.24. Enter second number 27.12. If you add it, the sum is 62.36. If you subtract, the difference is 8.12. If you multiply, the product is this. If you divide, the quotient is this. Now, what if you have a negative here? It works, you know, multiply gives you this. Negative times positive is negative. Subtract gives you this. Add, it gives you this. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do, let's finish this up. We want to, if we want to clear the entries, right? Clear the entries. So I click on this button. If I click on this button, it has to clear the entries, every entry. That's what I need. So we want it to clear these entries here, and entries here. When you click on the clear button, you want this to be cleared. Entry in the first num text box, entry in the second num text box, and entry in the result label. You want it to be cleared. So I will write a first num text box dot text equal to an empty equal to empty. Second num text box dot text should be empty. Then the result label dot text should also be what? Empty. So okay, that is when I click on declare, then this should happen. And after clearing, I still want it. After clearing, I still want the focus to be where? At the first num text box. So after that, I want the first num text box. First num text box dot focus. I still want it to focus there after clearing. Okay. Then the next one is exit. When I click on exit, what should happen? Just end. Just end. When I click on exit, it should end. Another thing you can write is me.close. You know, you can also write me.close and put this. Yeah, you can write this me.close to close it and put the parenthesis, or you just click end, or you just type end. I'll just use end. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. If I have a 25 and I have a 35, add it, 60, subtract, -10, multiply, 875, divide, 0.714, and the rest of them. And what if I want to clear it? I clear it. Okay, and what if I want to exit? I exit. You know, let's go ahead and save formats. Remember, we don't want to save it under this. No, we want to save it in the desktop. So you go to desktop, under Visual Basic Projects. That is what we want. We want to save it under Visual Basic Projects. So I will name it Samdom Basic Calculator, and then I save it. Okay, then you click on save all. If you click on this save all, you still need this desktop Visual Basic Projects Samdom Basic Calculator. You click save again. Okay, and then you close it. Now if we go to my site, Visual Basic Projects, Samdom Basic Calculator, see it here. You click on it again, Samdom Basic Calculator. Then you click on the bin file. You click on debug file. This is what I need. Okay, Samdom Basic Calculator. This is the desktop application. So that when you click on it, it gives you this right away. If you click on it, it gives you this. Now, these applications, I will post it here on my website. If you click on apps, this was the one we did in the previous video. After this, I will put the next one here, best no code application. So when you click on it, you know, it will say, would you want to save this or run it? You can save it first. I'll be putting the apps here. So when you click on it again, you click on this. If you're using Windows 8, you probably might see this this warning. Just click on more info. It will tell you, it will ask you whether you trust it to run. Click on run anyway, and you see this is just the hand.